The biggest sporting event in America is here. Well, in 2 weeks. Everybody calm down. Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60, the matchups are set. The New England Patriots, who we know have a lot of tradition, a lot of history in the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about that. And the Seattle Seahawks, who also have some history and tradition in the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, these two have met before in the Super Bowl. We remember that classic Super Bowl, Seattle and New England. The conference championships, classic games. Both of them were classic games. Both of them were one possession games. Both of them came down to the end. Who's going to win this Super Bowl? Will you be tuning in? The Patriots and the Seahawks. Who's going to win? Let's talk about it next on the Coach Cherry Show.
Imagine that. You ain't gotta ask that. That's my energy.
This AFC Championship game, I'm talking about the Patriots and the Broncos. Bo Nix being out. Yes, Bo Nix was out. That I was going to say that took a little something from the game, but there was hype around Jarrett Stidham. Did you see the pregame? Looked like he had his whole family down there, and they're celebrating and they're hugging and taking pictures, and almost like he had won the game. But there was so much excitement around Jarrett Stidham. I think he hadn't started a game since 2023. Now, most people, I think, picked New England. Why? Because Denver had their backup quarterback. And I think, I was saying before the game, I feel like Jarrett Stidham has some talent. But look, if you haven't played all season, that's tough, y'all. I don't even, as a matter of fact, let me look at Jarrett Stidham's numbers. His numbers. Jarrett Stidham was 17 of 31, 133 yards, a touchdown and an interception. 4 carries for 23 yards. QBR and passer rating were not very good. But that's a tough spot to be in. You haven't played all season, and your first action is the AFC Championship game with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line against a really good New England team. That's tough. That's for him to have come out there and played lights out. That would have been miraculous. The weather didn't help. By the time the snow hit, neither team could do anything. They couldn't. I mean, neither team could do anything. New England escapes. New England beats Denver 10-7. Wasn't a pretty game. Again, the weather impact that it was not a pretty game. Jarrett Stidham came out early, boom, hit the deep completion, and it looked like Denver drove down and scored. It looked like, whoa, we all know Sean Payton can coach. And I figured Sean Payton would have some things ready for Stidham. I felt like he would put in a package that Stidham could work with, because although Stidham has not played, he has been on the team all season. This was not like a Phillip Rivers pickup at the end of the season. He's been in practice all season. He was on the team last year. So he's familiar with the coach. He has a relationship with the players and personnel, and all that's in place. He just hadn't had any game reps. You had Jarrett Stidham, who hadn't played or started since 2023. Then you had Drake May, who's only in his second year. So really 2 inexperienced quarterbacks. Drake May didn't have a big day. As a matter of fact, Drake May only threw for 86 yards. First time a quarterback has won a conference championship throwing for less than 100 yards. First time in NFL history. Drake May is good, y'all. I like Drake May. I like his toughness. I like, as they say, his moxie. I like his ability to run. In today's game, if you can't move as a quarterback, you be very careful. It ain't a whole lot of Matthew Staffords and Jared Goffs out there. No. As a matter of fact, that might be it. You got to be able to. No, you don't have to be Michael Vick. No, you don't have to be Lamar Jackson. You don't have to be those guys. You got to be able to move. You have to at least be able to move well enough to extend a play. You don't have to run for 30 yards. You don't have to run for 20 yards. But if you drop back, nobody's open, and the pocket starts to break down, you got to be able to move. Drake May does that well. And Drake May hurt them with some big runs. He scored a touchdown off one of them. Drake May running the football. Drake had 10 carries for 65 yards. That hurt, y'all, because that put New England over 100 yards rushing. Ramondre Stevenson had 71 yards. Drake May had 65. He almost had as many rushing yards as Stevenson. Most defensive coordinators don't account for that when they're game planning. How many rushing yards? And these were not, all of these were not designed runs. And that's what I'm saying. As a quarterback, you got to be able to run off improvisation. I'm not talking about a design run. I'm talking about instincts and awareness and ability to just kick in and say, nobody's open, pocket is collapsing. I don't have to throw the ball out of bounds. I don't have to accept the sack. I can extend the play. The longer you extend the play, the tougher it is on the secondary. You look at New England. New England and Denver, but since New England won, because both coaches have done a great job. Both for both teams to be in this position. Bo Nix is a second-year quarterback. They got here with Bo Nix as quarterback. I know Jarrett Stidham started today. Bo Nix got him here. Both teams made the conference championship with second-year quarterbacks. New England was 4-13 last year. New England was 4-13 the year before. They bring in Mike Vrabel. They bring in Josh McDaniels. Mike Vrabel takes a team that had won 8 games in 2 years. Mike Vrabel takes a team that was 4-13 the last 2 years, and they go 14-3. You talk about a turnaround. 4-13, 4-13. I'll take those headsets. 14-3. Not only 14-3, we're going to the Super Bowl. Now, Mike Vrabel is not a new coach. Don't forget, he was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans from 2018 to 2023. And he had some competitive Titans teams as well. Derrick Henry was on those teams. Mike Vrabel can coach. Mike Vrabel played, don't forget he played for New England, won 3 Super Bowls with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They say if Mike Vrabel wins this Super Bowl, it'll be the first time someone has won a Super Bowl as a player and a coach for the same organization, for the same franchise. It'll be the first one in NFL history. Sean Payton, outstanding coach. Sean Payton, I thought, had Jarrett Stidham ready. It looked like he had Jarrett Stidham ready. It looked like he had the team ready. But I thought Sean Payton made a mistake, a costly mistake, a mistake that ended up deciding the game. When you have games like this, it can be one, I've said this before, it can be one decision that alters that game. In the first half, Denver had the ball in field goal range, 4th down. I think it was like 4th and 1, 4th and 2. It was short. Instead of kicking the field goal, and I'm sitting there saying, kick the field goal, just take the points. Kick the field goal, take the points. Instead of kicking the field goal, Sean Payton decides to go for it on 4th down. They don't get it. They don't get it. That would have given them 10. They already had 7 at that point. New England scores, it's 7. I think New England goes down and kicks a field goal. They score a touchdown field goal. New England is now up 10-7. Denver never scores again. You know why Denver never scores again? Not because Jarrett Stidham was a quarterback. That's not why they didn't score again. They didn't score again because that snow started coming down heavy. When that snow started coming down heavy, it wasn't just Denver. Neither team could move the football. The ball game was over. So with the score being 10-7 in regular weather, once the snow hit, ball game. I hope you got all your points in. I hope you got your points in before the snow. And when you're watching the game, you can see neither team could do anything. Receivers couldn't run routes. Quarterbacks were throwing the ball short. Running backs couldn't plant their foot and make a cut. So once they get the handoff and they head in one direction, if they wanted to avoid a defender or cut back, they couldn't plant. So whatever direction they initially started, they had to keep going in that direction. Once the snow started, whatever the score was, 10-7, that's it. Neither team was moving the foot. Because look at this. Look at this. Like I said, look at the quarterback numbers. Drake May, 10 of 21, 86 yards. Ugh. Jarrett Stidham, 17 of 31, 133 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Ugh. Because his QBR was 19.6. His passer rating was 63. Listen, it was nasty football. I said Ramondre Stevenson had 71 yards, but he got those 71 yards on 25 carries. He averaged 2.8 yards a carry. Ugh. Leading rusher for Denver, R.J. Harvey, 13 carries, 37 yards. Guess what his average per carry was? 2.8. Might as well go ahead and say for that too. It was ugly football. And Sean Payton had no idea this. I'm assuming he didn't know. I don't think he did, that the snow was going to start coming down that heavy. And let me get all my points in now. Because when the game started, it was cold, but there were no elements involved. There's no rain, no precipitation. So Sean Payton may be thinking, oh, we good. And as smart of a coach as Sean Payton is, I'm sure when that snow started coming down, he probably said, uh-oh, I think I messed up. He didn't take those 3 points. They end up losing the game 10-7. Now, this is big for New England. I used to joke around with some New England Patriots fans, and I would say, outside of Brady and Belichick, New England is just like any other organization as far as their history. Because Patriot fans would say, man, we have one of the most successful franchises. And technically, they do have one of the most successful franchises in NFL history. They do. We get it. But I would say, yeah, you got a little lucky off of that. That's because you got Tom Brady. I'm not going to even say Bill Belichick because I haven't seen Bill Belichick win consistently outside of Brady. Now, when he had Brady, did his thing. And if you want to say Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches of all time, I won't argue that. If you say he's the greatest coach of all time, now we got to have a discussion. But apart from Belichick and Brady, I was saying, what has New England done? From a historical context, what have they done outside of Brady and Belichick? They've been to one Super Bowl. Bill Parcells, Drew Bledsoe. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. They went to another Super Bowl. Oh, I take that back. They played the Chicago Bears in '85. Who was coaching that Patriots team? I apologize to my New England Patriot fans. Let me look that up right quick. New England Patriots Super Bowl. It just came to me because I was a huge Chicago fan versus the Chicago Bears. I remember that game. Yep, 1986. Now the Bears punished them. We remember that. But my quarterback on that New England Patriots team. Who was my quarterback on that team? Tony Eason? His backup, Steve Grogan. Steve Grogan. Let's see here. The '85 New England Patriots season. The head coach was Raymond Berry. Wow. Okay. So this adds to the Patriots' legacy. And that's what I was saying. I would say, hey, apart from Brady and Belichick, the Patriots are no different than the Carolina Panthers. What? If you remove the Brady-Belichick era, they've been to 2 Super Bowls, just like the Panthers, and they've lost both of them. They've lost both of them. They lost to the Chicago Bears, and then in 97, who did they lose? The Green Bay Packers. 2 Super Bowls, 2 losses. The Carolina Panthers, 2 Super Bowls, 2 losses. What's the difference? Now, when you throw in the Brady-Belichick era, that's when New England separates from everyone. But without Tom Brady, they're just another organization. That's why this was big, because now with Mike Vrabel and Drake May, they can say, outside of Brady and Belichick, we've been to 3 Super Bowls. 3 of them. So now, are they going to beat? Now, if they beat Seattle, we're really talking about something. If they can bring home a Lombardi trophy apart from Tom Brady, you're really adding to the historical legacy of the New England Patriots. Then, the NFC Championship, Seahawks and Rams. That was a very good game. I was wanting the Rams to win. Gosh, and I thought when Rick Woolen, defensive back for Seattle, when he got that taunting penalty, they had just stopped the Rams, and that gave the Rams a first down to keep their drive going. This is second half. They're up 31-20. They're getting ready to put the Rams away, and Rick Woolen gets that penalty. And the very next play, Sean McVay said, his head's out of the game. Go at him. Puka Nacua, boop, deep touchdown pass on Rick Woolen, 31-27. We got a ball game now. I said, boy, if they lose this game, buddy, he needs to not look at television, social media, nothing. Don't you cut nothing on. You just sit there and you start working out or let your body have a break or whatever. Then, another play that I thought was huge, Kobe Parkinson dropped the ball on 4th and 3, on 3rd down. And then Matthew Stafford ended up picking up the first down on 4th down. It was a Fernando Mendoza type run, because Matthew Stafford never runs. Matthew Stafford put his shoulder down and said, it's playoff time. It's playoff time. I got to get this first down. Both quarterbacks played lights out. Matthew Stafford had 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 127.6 passer rating. Wow. Sam Darnold, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, 127.8 passer rate. I'm talking. This was back and forth. It was Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba against Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua, and they were just going back and forth. Boom, boom, boom. You score, we're gonna score. You score, we're gonna score. Because I'm watching, I'm like, who's the better receiver? Is it Jackson Smith and Jigba? Is it Puka Nacua? Because they both were balling. I was happy for Cooper Kupp, y'all. I was happy for Cooper Kupp when he scored that touchdown. I was rooting for the Rams, but I was happy when Cooper Kupp, the Rams, Cooper Kupp should have retired as a Ram. That's fine. It's all good. And I know it probably hurt him a little bit when the Rams let him go. I know it probably did. But for him to go against his old team and score that touchdown in the NFC Championship, I said, good for you, Cooper. And when they won the game, although I didn't want them to, I said, I'm happy for you, Cooper. I can't even be mad about that, Cooper. I can't be mad about that. But Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua, they were going at it. Now, Sam Darnold, and you can say this for a number of players, but look at Sam Darnold. The New York Jets, the Carolina Panthers. 3 years with the Jets, 2 years with the Panthers. 5 seasons. And people thought he was done. He's a bust. He's washed up. He's overrated. He's not an NFL starting quarterback. Oh, really? Well, that's interesting, because he's on his way to the Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is back-to-back seasons for Sam Darnold. Coach Chair, when you say back-to-back seasons for Sam Darnold, what do you mean? Last year, he led Minnesota to the playoffs with a 14-3 record. This year, he leads the Seattle Seahawks to the playoffs with the 14-3 record. So what that tells me is Sam Darnold just needed to be in the right situation. Why do you say that, Coach Jerry? Because he's done this twice in two different systems. Huh? He did this in Minnesota. The man threw for over 4,000 yards in Minnesota and 35 touchdowns. And Minnesota let him go for J.J. McCarthy, who hadn't proved. J.J. was hurt. And Minnesota, I think, made the mistake of, we spent a high draft pick on J.J. McCarthy, so we got it. See, sometimes don't make the mistake worse by making another mistake. You didn't know what you had when you signed Sam Darnold. I got it. J.J. McCarthy coming in was going to be your rookie. I got it. You spent a high pick on him. And up until that point, Sam Darnold hadn't shown a lot. So if you drafted J.J. McCarthy to be your starter, I got it. But once J.J. McCarthy gets hurt in the preseason and Sam Darnold becomes your starter and you say, whoa, wait a minute. We got something here. You don't let Sam Darnold go. You keep him. But what about the pick that we spent on? Okay, Green Bay did that too. Green Bay had Brett Favre and they selected Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, you just got to wait. Got to wait. Green Bay did that. They had Aaron Rodgers. They selected Jordan Love. Jordan Love, you got to wait. Wait for you. You got to wait. Huh? And look how it's worked out for both of those, for that organization. Wonderful. They still go to the postseason every year. What would have been wrong with giving Sam Darnold a 3-year deal? And J.J. McCarthy, who was a rookie, okay, if he has to sit for 2 or 3 years, is that the end of the world? What's wrong with that? Now, whenever Sam Darnold leaves or steps down or whatever have you, and I know Sam Darnold's not an old quarterback, but let's just say for whatever reason after those 3 years, you want to move on. Or after those 3 years, you're ready to insert J.J. McCarthy now because he's had so many practice reps and he's had a chance to sit behind a veteran. Now you're ready. Sam Darnold last year led Minnesota to the playoffs. They lost to the same Los Angeles Rams team they just beat. Okay, and you wanted to get rid of him. You may have made the mistake worse. Huh? Maybe you didn't need to select J.J. McCarthy. You didn't know what you had in Sam Darnold. That's fine if that was a mistake. But don't make another mistake by letting him go. Sam Darnold, in his 5 seasons before Minnesota, averaged 210 passing yards a game. In his last 2 years with the Vikings and Seahawks, he's averaging 246. Sam Darnold, in his first 5 seasons with the Jets and Panthers, had 61 total touchdowns in 5 seasons. In the last 2 seasons with Minnesota and Seattle, he's got 60 touchdowns in 2 years. Wow. Sam Darnold, in his first 5 seasons, Jets, Panthers, 78.2 QBR. His last 2 seasons with the Seahawks and Vikings, 100.9 QBR. Whew. Sam Darnold's winning percentage, his first 5 seasons, 38% win percentage. Last 2 seasons, 82. And you wonder why I say, just find the right situation. You wonder why I say when people were criticizing Bryce Young and I was saying he just needs to be in a good situation. This is why. I can say the same thing. We can look at Baker Mayfield, but Baker Mayfield is not playing right now. But we can look at Baker Mayfield and see the same thing. It's a number of quarterbacks we can do that with. Matthew Stafford, we could do that with. When he was in Detroit, he can't win the big game. He's turnover prone. Doesn't know what he's doing. Look at him now in Los Angeles. That man's on his way to the Hall of Fame. Situation, a good buddy of mine said years ago, situational. Sam Darnold's on his way to the Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel, and look at the coaches in the Super Bowl, Mike Vrabel and Mike McDonald. This is interesting because you have some coaches that have been in place for years. Vrabel gets to New England, and I'm sure Vrabel is somewhat familiar with New England because he played there for years. But even though he played there for years, he's taken them to the Super Bowl his first season. Like, that's some Kurt Signetti type stuff. Where's the process, so to speak? You a team that was 4-13 and 4-13. Where's the okay? Let's try to go 9-8. Let's try to go 8-9. Let's just try to get better. And then next year we'll try to win the division. No. Mike Vrabel said no, sir. Process, man. Let's go into the Super Bowl our first year. What if Mike Vrabel told you that in the interview, Coach? What's your plans for improving the franchise and getting us back to where we used to be? And he doesn't say, well, 4-13 the last 2 years. We'll try to go 7-10, maybe 8-9 at best, and then the year after that we'll try to go 9-8, maybe 10-7 postseason play. And no. What if Vrabel says we're going to the Super Bowl? Oh, what's your time period for the Super Bowl, Coach? 3 or 4 years? 3 or 4 years. And we're going right now. Whoa, Coach Vrabel, your quarterback is young. He's only a second-year quarterback. That's fine. We're going to the Super. That's fine. We're going to the Super Bowl right now. Boy, that's some tough stuff right there. That's. And then Mike Macdonald. Mike, what's your plans here in Seattle? How can you get us back to the years Legion of Boom, and Russell Wilson, and all those guys, Marshawn Lynch? Yeah, I can do that. Pete Carroll had us in the Super Bowl. I can do that. Well, how long is it going to take, Coach? What do you mean? How long is it going to take you to 2 years? Well, wait. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. You've never been a head coach before. I know. That's fine. We'll be in the Super Bowl in 2 years. Well, who's your quarterback? It didn't matter. Because at the time when Mike Macdonald got the job, remember Sam Darnold's in Minnesota. So you got Geno Smith, and that's fine. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I do know this. I'm wearing the headsets. And because I'm wearing the headsets, we'll be in the Super Bowl in 2 years. Huh? What's the problem? This is an interesting coaching matchup. Vrabel has more experience because he was a head coach in Tennessee for 5-6 years. Mike Macdonald, it's only his second year coaching. Both have quarterbacks that are inexperienced on this stage. I know Sam Darnold has been in the league for years. I just told you he had 3 years with the Jets and 2 years with the Panthers, and he spent the year in San Francisco. I don't know what happened to Sam Darnold that year in San Francisco. I keep telling y'all, Kyle Shanahan may be the best quarterback coach in the game. That man has taken everybody to the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Colin Kaepernick, Matt Ryan when he was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta. I don't know what Kyle Shanahan is doing. But that 1 year that Sam Darnold spent in San Francisco, something must have happened. Because now that man has gone 14-3 the last 2 seasons. But he hasn't been on this stage. On this stage, Sam Darnold doesn't have any experience. Now, obviously, he's the more experienced quarterback overall over Drake May. But it's going to be interesting to see both of them on this stage. Mike Macdonald, young coach, the third youngest coach to go to a Super Bowl. Sean McVay was 33, Mike Tomlin was 36, Mike Macdonald is 38, third youngest coach. Drake May, second youngest quarterback to start in a Super Bowl behind Dan Marino. The youngest quarterback to lead the NFL in completion percentage at 70%. It's a lot of this is I'm curious how many people are excited about the Super Bowl. Because if you look at Seattle and New England, it's not a lot of star-studded, it's not a star-studded roster on either side. They got some talent. Kenneth Walker III can run the football. Ramondre Stevenson can run. Travion Henderson, them guys can run. You got Stephon Diggs at receiver. You got Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got some names that people are familiar with, but there are no future Hall of Famers yet. Jackson Smith and Jigba at this rate, if he keeps playing he'll be a Hall of Famer. But I don't see anybody on either roster whose name jumps out. Future Hall of Fame. Lock, first ballot. Who? Now, Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, absolutely. Saquon Barkley, all those guys, we know all those names. Jalen Hurts, we know those names. We got it. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. We all know those. Hold up, first ballot. But this is a matchup where what names really jump out at you? I'm curious to see what the ratings are going to be for this game. How many people will tune in for the Patriots and the Seahawks? Interesting. My early preview, and the game is 2 weeks away. This may change. My early preview. Vrabel's the more experienced coach. Sam Darnold's the more experienced quarterback. If I had to pick right now, wow, that's tough. They're playing in Santa Clara, California, home of the San Francisco 49ers. So weather shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't be snowing or anything like that. It shouldn't be cold either. Early pick. Wow, this is a tough one. I may go with Seattle. Seattle 23, New England. I want to say New England 16. Seattle 23, New England 16, maybe. That pick may change, though. That may change. But I'm excited about the matchup. Are you? And we didn't get a chance to talk about Curt Cignetti and what he's done at Indiana winning that national title. I haven't seen anyone go to a basketball school and win a national championship in football. I haven't seen that at Duke. I haven't seen that at North Carolina. I haven't seen that at Kansas. I haven't seen that at UCLA. I haven't seen anyone go to I haven't seen that at Alabama. I haven't seen anyone go to a basketball school. Alabama was football, and Nate Oates is doing well in basketball. What are the basketball powerhouses? I haven't seen it before. Going to a school that Indiana has 5 national championships. We know about the late, great Bobby Knight. He won 3 of them. They have 5 national titles. That's top 5. They're tied with Duke with 5 national titles. In the top 5 of programs all time with national titles. 8 Final Fours at Indiana. Indiana hadn't won a bowl game since 1991 in football. 1991, they hadn't won a bowl. That's the last bowl game, the Cotton Bowl. The last bowl game they won. You're talking about over 30 years ago. As a matter of fact, before Curt Cignetti got there, they were 2-10, 4-8, 3-9. And that man comes in his first year and goes 11-1 to the playoffs. What? Now they lost in the first round, but I don't care. That man went 11-1 into the college football playoff. A team that had just gone 2-10, 4-8, 3-9. And then if you thought that was a fluke, the next year, 16-0 national title. I've never seen anything like that. I haven't seen anything like that. Well, Coach Cherry, he's got the portal and NIL. Well, so does every other coach in America. Why aren't they using it? What is he doing? That's because he's bringing in older players. Okay, well, why aren't other people doing it? Well, they'll start doing it now. So that means he was genius. Because now he set the trend. So he's a genius. Wow, that's one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen. One of the best I have ever seen. Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Who will you be rooting for? Who are you picking to win? Mike Vrabel and Drake May? Mike McDonald and Sam Darnold? Thanks for tuning in for this episode of the Coach Cherry Show. If you are listening by audio, check out the YouTube channel at the Coach Cherry Show. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching and you want to tune in to some of the audio, Apple Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Music, Patreon, and Spotify and iHeartRadio. Until next time, signing off, this is Coach Cherry. God bless you.
Regular haircuts turned into fades. Now a big smile like I'm winning in spades. Every day I see how the game's being played, but they don't want to tell you. I call it charades.